going to make sure that at least you've got a choice of methods that you can program yourself with. Okay. Probably into two sections. You've got some self-testing techniques that take two hands, right? Because obviously, if you're out and about anywhere, and certainly if you're in a health shop, you using your pendulum over their goods, or in a crystal shop over their goods, is not going to be necessarily greeted with great enthusiasm. And so sometimes it's better to have methods where you can be a little bit more sneaky, and yet still actually get the assessment that you're seeking. And so self-testing, there's lots and lots of different ways of doing it. What we usually do is take you through about 3 different ways, and then you can sort, if one of those doesn't suit you, you'll probably find another. One of the most common ways you see people using is, what they're doing is placing, and if you're not familiar with this, then have a go, touch the little finger and thumb on one hand. Right, now the muscle that you're using to hold those two together is not particularly strong. Okay, so the link between the thumb and the little finger can be broken very easily. And if with the other hand, with the thumb and forefinger, you insert it in the gap. And basically, with the thumb and forefinger, you're doing a quick movement or a flicking movement, attempting to push those two apart. Okay? And what you basically have, and you can program this into yourself. You know, it's not like dowsing where it's part of a natural energy. You can actually, by repetition, like passively program, like you would a crystal, you can into yourself, that when the finger and the thumb and finger stay together, that's a yes. And when they part, it's a no. And this is actually, I mean, you might be able to just hear, it's actually closer to a flick that you're doing with this. So it's a sudden yes, no, yes, no. Now the drawback with that is it takes 2 hands, so it's still going to be pretty visible. But there are times that nobody would mind you doing that. Okay. Another one is to put your thumb and forefinger together in one hand, thumb and forefinger together the other hand, the other way, like links in a chain. Okay, and yes is when they stay put, no is when they part.
The main thing is not to hold the thumb and the finger, whichever one you're using, together, but not too tightly, so that you're not straining to do that.
Because what you're doing is you're not measuring how the strength of the muscle. You're measuring the amount of energy flow there is in the muscles. And what happens because of a program from knee-high to a grasshopper in most human beings, the word no weakens things a bit. Yeah, so drops the energy flow. So with no, things loosen up. Okay. So they're 2-handed techniques. Now, another one, you know when people say, "I'll give you money," yeah, that sort of thing. Now that movement between the thumb and the index finger, if you do that gently, saying to yourself, yes, 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 and then you switch it and you say no, 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 there is a subtle difference between the two. Most people will work out that the no is a little bit more sticky. And of course that one, people might not know what you're doing. They might think you're a bit weird, but you can actually be a little bit more surreptitious.
Yeah, you'll
with
find
that
some that are easier,
yeah.
one or two.
But these can be useful in situations where you haven't got a pendulum and you need to access. It would be the same thing, you know, if nobody's looking anyway. Tap yourself in, or you can certainly ground yourself when you do that, tap yourself in, and then actually ask. It helps to take the head out of what you're trying to assess. But there will be situations when there are crystals on somebody, your pendulum's over there, and you need to you need to do something fairly quickly, you know, and so it's good to have an option where you can use finger testing. It is in your info, but what we say, if you're not already familiar with it, then have a go with some of these until you can find one that, like you found that one works. That's fine, you've got one.
Oh, goodness.
But like I say, but you can program yourself to them as well. You know, so that you can rely on the response you're getting. You don't have to think, oh, was I right that time? I mean, obviously, if you're asking some idiotic question about something emotional, you know, am I going to win the lottery tomorrow? You know, of course it's going to say yes. You know, you know, the fact that it might be £2.80 is neither there nor there, but it's that sort of thing. You know. But it's good to have a skill like that.